Yes, my dear friend, welcome back to the channel. Very good afternoon to you wherever you are around the globe. This is Salon's Blog. You are highly welcome. In Africa, in Europe, in America, Canada, even here in Asia, I'm excited to come your way. Thank God it's Friday. A lot is at stake in the next few days. Chelsea's game is against Leicester on Sunday. How expectant are you? I am expecting Chelsea to win the game. As you can see me, it's Friday and I'm in my Chelsea jersey. Yes, for a good reason. Listen. Chelsea could raise almost 300 million in major clear-outs to comply with Premier League's financial rules. It is believed that Chelsea are to sell almost about 10 players as in a clear-out in the summer. Every arrangement arrangements are taking place right now. With Todd Boehly visiting Saudi Arabia over the weekend, last weekend. It is expected that all these players, number one on the list, which I am not in favor of, my goodness, which I am not in favor of, number one on that list is Conor Gallagher. I am not in favor of that, but I have no choice. It's on the list. Then Raheem Sterling, it is believed that Raheem Sterling is on the list to be sold, as expected. Conor Gallagher could be sold for £50 million. Sterling, £50 million. Then the big man himself, Lukaku, £37 million. Kepa, £35 million. Matson, £35 million. Lewis Hall, £27 million with Newcastle. Amando Broha, £13 million. Chalobah, £13 million. Mark Cucurella, £13 million. Then Ziyech, £10 million. All these players that I mentioned their names, it is very likely, very likely Chelsea is going to be selling all these players. And if we succeed in selling all this, we should be making close to £300 million in a clear out. Now, it will interest you to note that our owner, Todd Boehly, our co-owner, Todd Boehly, was actually in Saudi Arabia. At the same time Todd Boehly was in Saudi Arabia, Jose Mourinho was also there. And that is why I put down this piece. Listen carefully. Pochettino's future has coincided with the availability of Stamford Bridge favorite Jose Mourinho. The 61-year-old is jobless after being sacked by AS Roma in January, and there have been calls for him to return for a third stint. Speculations surrounding Mourinho has gathered pace in the last few weeks after he was seen meeting with Newcastle United owner Yasser Al-Rumayyan at the Formula One Saudi Grand Prix. Many fans would have noticed that Chelsea co-owner Todd Boehly was also in Saudi Arabia recently. Does that have anything to do with a meeting? Todd Boehly meeting with Jose Mourinho? This is a speculation. In my heart, I want to believe so. Todd Boehly was in Saudi Arabia at the same time Jose Mourinho was in Saudi Arabia. Even though there's evidence that Jose Mourinho met with the Newcastle owner. In fact, this has been the news for a while. That Newcastle, at the end of the season, they might sack Eddie Howe. And looking at the kind of squad Newcastle have right now, it perfectly fits Jose Mourinho. The squad they have right now perfectly fits Jose Mourinho. But he was in Saudi Arabia to meet Newcastle owner. At the same time, Todd Boehly was in Saudi having another meeting with Michael Emanuelo, our former technical director, who is now in charge of the Saudi Pro League. Is there any coincidence in there? Do you think Todd Boehly was there specifically to meet with Jose Mourinho as well? Of course, if there is a meeting, it has to be secret. Since Pochettino is still in charge right now. Any meeting between the two will have to be secret and private. I don't expect them to make it public. You can never have a hint of it. You can, unless even a housefly cannot even get into that room. Well, these are all speculations anyway, dear friend. But let me ask you, Jose Mourinho to Chelsea, third stint, because it is very clear that at the end of the season, it is very, very likely, unless we are able to qualify for Europe. Even right now, some sources are hinting that even qualifying for Europe alone might not save Pochettino, because they are looking at the future. You qualify for Europe, we are looking at the future. Emmanuel previously had a position in the boardroom at Chelsea, and the meeting comes after Riyadh Air was linked with becoming the club's next shirt sponsor. There has been no apparent meeting between Boehly and Mourinho, and if there had been, it's likely not to be made public. However, as Pochettino fights to save his job, Mourinho is favored to be one of the front runners to replace him at Stamford Bridge. Jose Mourinho. I know you Chelsea fans, most of you would love to have him back. But there are others also that are opposed to the idea. All right. Okay, to some other news. Europe's most wanted striker right now is Victor Osimhen. Europe's most wanted striker right now is Victor Osimhen. Yes. Europe's most wanted striker, Victor Osimhen, should spawn Premier League interest and join PSG this summer. Joining PSG is on board. PSG are pushing hard to stop Victor Osimhen from joining Chelsea. They are. That is the reason why I would have expected Chelsea to be concluding the deal with Victor Osimhen and his agent by now. We cannot afford to wait until the end of the season before we strike the deal. PSG are in it seriously as we speak. Dear friend, what Chelsea need right now is an experienced player like Victor Osimhen. I just want to hope that we will not miss out on him. It is very important our owners get the job done within the next month to avoid PSG, unless we are no longer interested. But Victor Osimhen has emerged as Europe's most hottest striker in the market. Dear friend, let me end it here. I will be back with more exclusives in some hours to come. See you when you see me. Shalom and peace.